This is 2 minutes in eternity, 21 days in a row with Jim Driscoll. I'm Jim Driscoll, and this is day 21. So we're in the home stretch here. Um, I congratulate you for getting this far. Again, I'm going to speak grace and mercy. The Lord empowers us to do this, and if you're doing it imperfectly, that's fine. If you're supposed to do day 19 yesterday but didn't do it today. There's plenty of mercy. All right, I'm just going to pray, and then we'll step into it. Um, we'll go from there. Lord, I pray you'd open our eyes, our ears, our nose, our touch, our mind's eye, our emotions, our will to you, Lord. Um, Lord, we want to know you as you are, Lord. We want to see you so that we might know you forever, as Moses prayed. Um, and so we just proclaim that your kingdom's at hand. You bring eternity with you, Lord. You are the eternal God. When you step into time, that moment is connected to beyond all time, to eternity with you. And so we just humbly, Lord, wait on you. All right, that's about 2 minutes. If you got something, hopefully you've written it down. If you haven't written it down, pause this video and write it down now. If not, let it keep playing and follow along with me. Now, you don't need me to do this on your own. You don't need to see what I drew, what I got, what I wrote down, what I thought. I'm just doing this 21 days in a row so you can do it with me. And sharing my examples is maybe, a little bit of the myriad of things of the type you could be getting. Um, but what you really need is your own history with the Lord. So you're like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then that way, when he speaks according to your history, then does a new thing, you both recognize the familiar of how he's speaking to you like you did in the past, but he's showing you a facet of him that you have never seen before. And so it's both the intimacy and the history that you recognize, but also the new things that spur you on to know more than you did. Um, all right. um, I smell. I smell cow manure. Now, for those of you that didn't grow up in the country, or I grew up the street from my grandfather's farm. I used to call him Pop Up, where him and two of my uncles were dairy farmers. And then my mom was the oldest child, and so when she married my father, they were given a parcel of land, that bordered the farm, and that's where I grew up. And so, to me, cow manure isn't this repulsive thing. It's like, oh, you know, they were dairy farmers. There was cow manure. You hoed the manure into the manure pit, and then you turned on the cleaner, and it would rotate throughout the whole building and dump it into the spreader, and they would spread it out in the fields. And in the winter, because it's cold out, the cows would be inside more. And so because they were inside more during the winter, you got a lot more cow manure. So you know, while there was snow or not snow, but in the winter, you know, when the grass turns, the hay turns brown, it's not really growing. Or the cornfields that have ever been cut are sitting there, you know, waiting over the winter to be planted in the spring. You would spread manure all winter long. You know, and that it's incredibly fertile. The four stomachs of the cow do a really good job digesting stuff and making it very fertile. And so, doing this, I had to sense that it was there's a season of fertilization going on, fertilizing going on, a season of fertilizing. And then I got Jeremiah 9:4, which says, "Let everyone be on guard against his neighbor, and so do not trust any brother, because every brother deals craftily, every neighbor goes about as a slanderer." That last proclamation, a season of slander, brother against brother, slander. And that's kind of media politics in America, is everybody's slandering. You can't trust what anybody's saying because they're all lying about each other. But here's the thing. Well, they're throwing manure at each other. And so if you guard your heart, keep your eyes on the Lord, and then it becomes a season of you know, where everything's being fertilized. And it makes the soil rich for those that endure. They don't get caught up in the mud throwing, right? In the manure throwing, and shoveling the whatever you want to call it, the crap. Actually, the ground becomes fertile for something that with actual life in it. There's not life growing into winter so much. It's fertile. You know, everything's being fertilized, and so there's not a lot of life in the media, in the politics, and all the things being said. There's death in it mainly, you know, but it's mainly poop, right? It's fertilizer. If we as a country keep our eyes on the Lord, put our eyes on the Lord, and not get caught up, you know, in all the the mudslinging that's going on, it'll be a fertile ground, something of life to happen, and that's what I'm looking for. There's a lot of division right now, you know, a lot of shallowness, a lot of falsity, a lot of grandstanding, a lot of politics. And whenever I get sick of all that, then something of real life can happen. And so that's what I'm praying, Lord, that you would bring your life forward, Lord, after this season of how, I don't know how long it goes, of all the mud throwing, you know, and the poop flinging, that it would all settle down. We would keep our eyes on you, and new life would form. So, Lord, I thank you for opening our eyes, our ears, our nose, our taste buds, our touch, the eyes of our mind, on our heart and our will, Lord. I pray you continue to invade our day-to-day life with your kingdom, that eternity would be manifest at hand. I made a note to teach, I think yesterday, if you were listening to day 18, and I just realized what it said. I will talk about the Mount of Transfiguration either tomorrow, which would be the 20th day, or the day after that, 21st day, but I will talk about the Mount of Transfiguration. So I appreciate you being with me on day 19, and I look forward to seeing you on day 20.